Everything you saw in that beginning clip was filmed with budget equipment. Today we're going to talk about how to film cinematically on a budget. And trust me, I know this topic all too well. I've shot plenty of videos with very little equipment or cheap equipment. And I know you've heard it before that it's not all about the equipment, but it's very true. You need to understand how to utilize what you have so you can learn. So when those times do come when you can get better equipment, you'll be ready for it. Because if you were given a big budget with all the best equipment at your disposal but had little experience, then none of that matters. So with that being said, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more, and let's get right into it. We all have to use what's free to all of us, and that is natural light. It is our God-given light that we all have access to, and it costs a whopping $0. It's just about how you use it. Since this scene is an early morning video, I knew I wanted to utilize my windows. I use the blinds to shape the light so I can get contrast on my bed and on my face. I love contrast on my shots, so I'm actually happy about how these came out. Another type of shot that I love is a silhouette. The way you can get a shot like this is by having a bright light source in front of your subject while having a low f-stop and ISO. I can make a complete separate video about natural lighting because there's so many ways to utilize it, but I don't want to ramble too much about it, so we can move on to number 2. Now that silhouette shot would not be possible without this, a variable ND filter. These can run you about $30 to $50 for a good one, but they can range to like $100, $200. But personally, I don't think you need to spend that much to get a good ND filter. And this is a variable ND filter, and this one I have specifically has 5 stops of neutral density. When doing this shot, I had mine on 5. But depending on the type of shot you're getting, you can have it on 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It just depends on what type of light you're dealing with. Now there are some cheaper variable ND filters that can have a green tint to it, so just make sure you do your research on YouTube before going to purchase one. Now we're going to talk about this little guy. It's the RGB light by Ulanzi. This light will run you about $35 to $40 on Amazon. This is a great budget light to have because it's RGB, it has different effects, and it's bicolor, so you can go from warm tones to cool tones. Now with this being an early morning video, obviously I wanted it to be dark in the room, but I wanted to utilize this light just to add a little bit of extra light so it's not too dark, and I wanted to make it look like it came from the other window in my room. The way I chose to use this light in this video was subtle, but you can get a lot of use out of it and get very creative with it. Now this next piece of equipment is something that we all should have lying around our house, and that is a blanket. Yes, a blanket. Now I don't remember how much this cost, but I know that it's affordable. I shot this video around 5 or 6 p.m, which is the time my bedroom gets the most sunlight, and I knew I wanted that so I can get that shot I spoke about earlier with the blinds. The problem with that though is that even with the blinds closed, there was still too much light coming through the window. Now the actual equipment you're supposed to use in this situation is called a black flag, but I actually don't own one of those, so I had to utilize a black blanket to block the light that was coming in from the window. This is just an example of how to be resourceful in utilizing the things that you have around your house. Now I've saved the best for last, which is the Magic Arm by Small Rig. This is one of the newest additions to my equipment and I love it. I've always wanted one of these, so I'm happy that I finally got my hands on one. This is how I was able to get the overhead shot of me in the bed by clamping my camera to my ceiling fan. Now I don't know if that was the safest thing to do, but you know what I'm saying, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. I also used the Magic Arm to get the POV shot of me looking at my phone and turning my alarm off. This is a shot that I always wanted to get. You know, I've already seen other creators do it, so I'm finally happy I was able to do it myself. So it's a little bit later in the day because me and my fiance had to go get some Chick-fil-A, you know what I'm saying? So that means there's no more sun outside, so I'm trying to make it look like it's still a little bit of light coming through, and it doesn't necessarily have to be through the blinds, but just enough light to illuminate the room to make it seem like, you know what I'm saying, like it's morning time, you feel me? So I got this Govee bulb that you can control with your phone, so I can turn it off, you know what I'm saying, turn it on. I got like, you know, different colors and stuff like that, blah blah blah, you know, all that, but we're gonna go, you know, with the way more luminant, just so it can illuminate the room a little bit more like it would be during the day. And then it's really nothing that I probably can't adjust and fix in post, you know what I'm saying? It's really only for like a couple shots, so it shouldn't be that noticeable that the lighting is different, but hopefully it turns out well. I think it'll turn out fine. So overall, this is proof that you can shoot cinematic videos on a budget. You don't need the best or the most expensive equipment. You just need to understand fundamentals, how to be creative, and be resourceful. And don't think you need to spend top dollar to get good equipment either. Everything I use in this video is equipment that I've either had for a long time or I'm going to be using for a long time. Moral of the story is equipment does matter, but it's not everything. It's more about the person that's behind the camera. The other piece of equipment I didn't talk about today in this video is actually a tripod, but that's because I made a completely separate video going in full detail about angles, symmetry, leading lines, etc. So make sure to click the video on screen right now to go check that out. Also, if you learned anything from this video and you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe for more. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Deuces. Yeah, you see it. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come on, man. You know what I'm representing, man. Stop playing. You already know what time it is. Super Bowl boys 2026. Let's get it.